Hi, it's Caitlin and I'm here with a fun little swatch and nail art video featuring Cirque colors. And what they're offering from February 1st through the 7th is a perfect pairs promotion where they've got pairs of different polishes that are like curated duos and they're 20% off. And of course, you can also use my affiliate code, which is Caitlin10. And that's a new affiliate code for 2024. So if you used my code last year, you can use this one again in 2024 and save extra money. There's actually also two new products. One's a polish, one's a cuticle oil, which I will be sharing. They will be available as part of duos, but also individually. And yeah, I really suck at nail art, but I do think that Cirque colors and these curated duos of polishes make it pretty easy to do nail art, even if you're kind of mediocre like me. And yeah, don't judge me. So let's just look at the polishes. The first duo that I'm showing off kind of is the Perfect Prep pair. So this is a great way to save on base and top coat. I really like the Get Ready base coat from Cirque Colors. I find it really sticks to my nail and sticks to the polish for a long lasting manicure. But you can choose a base of your choice. So if you want the peely base, you can sub that in for this pair and save 20%. And then, of course, you also get the Looking Glass top coat, which I find to be a really nice glossy top coat. Next pair is the Precious Metals Duo, and this contains a new polish, which is called Alchemy. And this is a really gorgeous gold magnetic. You can build it up on its own or use it as a topper. I'm going to show it on its own. It is very sheer, but it is also incredibly sparkly and golden, so very opulent. And I do apologize for my voice. I continue to struggle. It's probably going to be a while until my throat is back to normal. But the other half of this duo is Chemistry, which is currently available, and that is such a cool polish. It's a gray nail polish with silver magnetic pigment, and you can use the magnetic wand to activate the magnetic particles. And the first instinct I had was to try to do sort of like a velvet kind of look to the nail with Chemistry, but you can do whatever you want. And of course, both of these polishes, while magnetic, look fantastic if you don't apply the magnet. So choose your own adventure again with the application. These, like I said, are super sheer, so they're probably better as toppers, but I wanted to get this video out and I didn't end up trying them as toppers. But I kind of like how you now have a gold and a silver magnetic topper / sheer polish from Cirque Colors. I like having cohesive things, so this works really well for anyone who's into both silver and gold. I really like the effect that I achieved with Alchemy. I sort of did the magnetic classic stripe and then went for a more suede-y velvet look with the last pass of the magnetic wand, and I think that achieved a really cool effect. The thing with regular nail polish magnetics is that they don't stay crisp in the same way that a gel polish does. So the magnetic particles do end up dispersing. So I'll show you what that looks like after the polish dries, but they still look really cool. The magnetic effect, even with regular polish, still gives you an extra level of depth, which I think is always appreciated. I always like sort of a dynamic nail polish look, and you definitely get that with both of these. I think Alchemy is a gorgeous shade of gold, so if you like gold polishes, then don't hesitate to pick it up. And you can pick it up outside of the Duo on its own. So here's like 5 minutes later, you can see the magnetic particles dispersed for both of them, but it still looks cool. Next up is the opal set, which I was really excited to see because I love opals. And this contains Georgette, which I'm going to use sort of as a base, and then Fantasia, which is a gorgeous topper. It's actually one of my favorite toppers from Cirque and ever. So I'll show you two different ways that you can achieve an opal look. One is super, super easy, and the other one is just a little bit more effort, but still very easy. So start off with 1 or 2 coats of Georgette. It depends on how sheer of a nail look you want. I think 2 is better than 1 because for me in 1 coat it almost didn't look like there was anything on my nail. And then you're going to take Fantasia, and what I did on my middle finger is I just kind of randomly placed Fantasia in different spots, because if you look at natural opals, those little flecks and flakes and inclusions are not evenly dispersed. So that's sort of my take on it. And then I went back in with another coat of Georgette to give it sort of a pond encapsulated look. Just sort of went into the places that I didn't dot on Fantasia under Georgette and put a little bit of Fantasia on top. And then of course the other super, super easy route is to just put Fantasia all over your nail. So you can see the difference. One might be slightly more artful, but they both look beautiful, and I think Georgette is an absolutely gorgeous color. I hadn't tried it until now, and it works very well with my skin tone, so it's beautiful for a nude nail. And this kind of just looks like I have an opal for a nail plate, which is really cool. Next up is the Rose Quartz set. Here's where I tried to do some nail art, and you can just see how I did. But anyway, what I did was I started off with the rose jelly base on both of my nails. This is another gorgeous nude for my skin tone. It works really, really well. And the formulas with these jellies from Cirque are just phenomenal. I love all of the formulas. And again, if you want, you can just do 1 layer of rose jelly for your base, but I decided to go with 2 just to provide a little more color. I was using an actual photo of rose quartz as a reference, and I just think you want to build up that slightly pinky hue a little bit before we start getting into the rose quartz marbling, if you will. And then we're going to take Chiffon. And I'm also using the Cirque Colors at its finest nail art brush, which is a really, really, really precise, fine, vegan and cruelty-free brush. It works super well for nail art, and for someone who sucks at it like me, it made it really easy to sort of create these rose quartz veins. I mean, rose quartz looks different depending on the piece that you get, but overall, when I was looking at how other people were representing rose quartz on their nails, they kind of put almost like zebra stripes zagging across their nail. So put as many as you want on your fingers. Don't make it perfect. That's the main thing here. And also trust the process, because this kind of looks like garbage. It also looks like the way special effect makeup looks before they start putting the highlights on. If you know what I'm talking about, it just looks like scarred up skin at this point, which is beautiful in its own right. But trust the process. This does actually end up looking quite a bit like rose quartz at the end, and it's a really easy way to do it. Now I'm going back in with rose jelly, and I'm going to apply a layer of that, a very thin layer over top of both of my nails to just sort of create dimension and also drag the chiffon that we painted on a little bit. I just think it makes it look a little more realistic and encapsulated like a piece of rose quartz, which is what we're going for. And then I'm going back in with chiffon, but for the sake of this video, I was trying to keep it to the duos, but if you have a white nail polish, a cream, or linen, which we're going to see shortly from Cirque Colors, it's a white jelly, that would be a good way to add additional depth and dimension to the sort of veining that I'm doing. But if you want to keep it super simple to 2 polishes, you get a really subtle rose quartz look, which is what I achieved here. So this last layer is back in with the chiffon, adding a few more of those sort of veins. I tried to look up the proper term for what you call the inclusions in rose quartz, but I guess they're just inclusions. And just adding that on top. And of course, you will want to seal this with top coat. So I'm using the Cirque Colors top coat, and depending on how thick you apply your top coat, you might need 2 coats to smooth out those sort of chiffon accent vein, whatever we're calling them. So I think this ended up being a really very subtle rose quartz look. So I do think that adding in something like a white would add a little extra dimension, but this does look pretty realistic based on some rose quartz that I've seen. Next up is the green jade set, and we're going to use some of the same techniques as I used with the rose quartz nail art to create the jade look on the nail. So of course we're going to start with jade jelly, which is such a pretty shade of green jade. It has a beautiful formula. It's really delicate and just gorgeous. I have a piece of jade jewelry and this looks so much like it. Again, I'm going to recommend doing 2 coats of jade jelly as your base just to get a good amount of green down. And then linen is the other half of this perfect pair, and I'm going to use the At Its Finest precision nail art brush once again to create those inclusions and veining that you see in green jade. So before we use the brush, what I'm using is a really simple technique. You just take linen out of the bottle, remove most of the excess, and then just dab down on your nail. So you should let the jade jelly dry most of the way, and then this just kind of creates this really interesting veining effect again with super minimal effort. And then I took my At Its Finest nail art brush and added some bigger sort of swirls that you often see in pieces of jade. It just kind of adds to the intentionality of the look. You can definitely just leave it the way I did it with the smushing technique, but I think that this adds a little bit more realism to the look of jade. So just add as little or as much as you'd like. And then the next step, as you might guess, will be adding another layer of jade jelly to encapsulate everything before we apply top coat. I will recommend that you let the linen accents dry a tiny bit before you go in with jade jelly, because you'll just smear it if you do it too quickly. So give it like 5 minutes minimum, maybe 10 minutes to be safe before you apply this layer of jade jelly. And also don't apply too much or you'll cover everything over. So again, I don't think that this looks really good until you apply that top coat, so trust the process and know that the top coat really does smooth everything out and really bring it together, which is almost miraculous, because many times throughout this process I thought, wow, I really stepped in it. But I mean, it's not the worst. It's absolutely not the best, I will tell you that, but I think it's really pretty for how easy it is to do. And now we have the leather set, which I love a good leather jacket. I also have leather pants. I inherited a lot of leather from my mom. She's like a leather lady. But this nail polish is really fun. It's using the NSFW jelly, which is a great black jelly. It's super grungy. I love the concept behind this polish. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I personally like it. And I recommend building up NSFW in 3 coats. And then the other part of the pair is the matte look top coat, which we're going to apply and let dry completely to get the super cool, very easy matte look nail polish. And I do really like the Cirque Colors matte look top coat. It does a really good job of giving a leathery kind of finish. It's just really fun. And when it goes on, it looks glossy. So that's probably why you're confused. It takes a little bit of time for a matte top coat to dry down. And here you get this really grungy, kind of imperfect, and I think that's the point of using NSFW jelly as the base. It just looks so cool. And here we have the Yin and Yang duo, which includes Carpe Diem, which is a white cream, and Memento Mori, which is a gorgeous black cream. And I am applying these over the Get Ready base. I'm really hoping that Carpe Diem comes for you with a paddle brush. My swatch pack didn't have a paddle brush, but I mean, it still applies really easily. It's just even easier when you have a paddle brush. So Carpe Diem's actually pretty opaque on the first coat, but Memento Mori is absolutely a one coat black. If you wanted to leave it in one coat, you absolutely could. But I kind of just always do two coats because in my mind, I feel like it'll lead to more longevity with my manicure. I don't know. But I do want to note, and maybe this is totally me, but I swear Carpe Diem has like the tiniest bit of of gold shimmer in it. And I don't know if that's like a really smart decision on Cirque's part in terms of formulating it, because the gold shimmer deflects or reflects the light and just gives you a really smooth finish. So I don't know. I swear it had gold shimmer in it. So anyway, here they are. They're beautiful creams with beautiful formulas. These are definitely going to be staples for me when I use a white cream or a black cream. Super impressed with these formulas and just can't recommend them enough. And last but not least, we have another new product. It's the Birthday Nail and Cuticle Oil, which was actually a gift with purchase last year for Cirque's, I think it was their 11th birthday. And this one is a birthday cake scented cuticle oil. And this is part of the Go-Go Gourmand duo, which you'll get a birthday cake, nail and cuticle oil, and a cherry cuticle oil. And this cuticle oil is pretty fast absorbing. I will agree with that. It contains vitamin E, argan, and avocado oils. Personally, I prefer cuticle oil with jojoba. So I think that this promotion is a great way to like build up your collection of staples, especially if you're really interested in getting more of those Cirque jellies, those like core colors. And honestly, this was my first time trying Memento Mori, and that is such a good black cream. So if you don't have it, it's probably one of the best black creams I've ever used, especially with the Cirque Colors paddle fan brush. So it's definitely worth picking up. And the white is also amazing, Carpe Diem. So that duo for sure, if nothing else. And yeah, let me know don't really let me know if you think my nail art is good or bad. It's okay, and I know that, but I'm just showing that you don't have to be like perfect at it in order to attempt it. And yeah, just let me know how you're doing, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!